your local Mercedes-Benz dealer on the web at searchmercedes.com. For everything Mercedes-Benz in the tri-state area, search Mercedes.com. 20 minutes down, 40 to go. This is the New York Rangers Intermission Report. Here's Tom Greca.
Hey, Ranger fans, get an American-made Energy Star certified Fearless boiler. Go to fearlessboiler.com for more info and to find a dealer near you. Remember, Fearless builds America's best boilers. Tom Greca back here just outside the Rangers dressing room as the Devils have a 1-0 lead on the Rangers after one period playing Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Final. We've just been informed Brian Boyle is not available to us, so I assume that John Tortorella's got a lot to say about his team and how they played in the first period. So we'll change gears and we'll bring in author from AP, Tim Sullivan. He's got a brand new book about the Rangers-Devils rivalry, specifically the '94 Conference Final, and he joins us here on the MSG Radio Network. How are you, sir?
Good, very good. Thanks for having me down.
Before we dive into your book, you saw the first period. What do you think John Tortorella's telling his team right now?
Probably don't let Ilya Kovalchuk have as much time with the puck. It looked like even though he didn't get as many shots off, there was a bit of a clinic out there in puck possession by New Jersey.
No question. Now let's get to your book. What's the name?
The name is called Battle on the Hudson: The Devils, the Rangers, and the Greatest Series in NHL History.
Now, the thing about it's so fascinating to me, there are just so many stories. As you dived into that series, won by the Rangers, of course, 4-3, they go on to win their first Stanley Cup since 1940. Did you discover anything that maybe the average Devil or Ranger fan maybe wouldn't know?
The emotion that is reunited when you talk about these two teams and what it meant to two different sets of fan bases, both looking after different sorts of things. You had the fan base over on this side of the river that's desperate to end the curse and to win it all and almost feel vindicated, and you had another franchise right across the river that was trying to build that status up and felt very much that they were disrespected and needed to win that series just to get respect. Eventually they would get it a year later, and that's the primary basis of the book, is that both teams, even though one lost, both won a championship within the next 12 months.
The other theme, of course, is the guarantee, and how deep is that guarantee, and how much do you believe, talking to the players, it did have an effect, not only in the result of Game 6, but ultimately the result in Game 7?
I think, in theory, it was just words, and I think a lot of the players thought that at first, and then when it started to develop on the ice, beginning in Game 6, the second period of Game 6 with Kovalov's goal to make it 2-1, and then Mark takes over in the third period, that's where it really took a hold, and I think it was a chain reaction. Once his first goal went in, everybody started to believe, and it was all those cliches that I'm going to carry you on my back, I'm going to take you through, and it really all trickled down, and conversely, on the other side, it really, really brought the Devils down. As you know, you were in the building for those games.
Now, I thought what it really did was set the tone for the Devils going forward. I'm not sure that they win that cup the next year after the lessons that they learned from not just the Rangers series, but everything that they went through in those 3 rounds in 1994. Do you get a sense from the players that was the case?
There's no question. All the Devils, to a man, said you almost have to lose to be able to win. Kind of the theory that you got to crawl before you can walk. There's a very good chance that they go on and beat Vancouver in 1994 and feel very high on themselves and never come back the hungry bunch after the lockout that they were. As it was, they did struggle in the regular season, as you know, Don, in 95, and it took that lighting of the fire once the postseason began in 95 for them to believe in themselves again, and then they obviously went on a run for the ages, going 16-4 and losing 4 games in the postseason and winning all 4 rounds without ever having home ice.
So that's the positive from New Jersey's standpoint. Do you think there was a hangover for the Rangers after that? They beat Quebec and they went to the second round. But how do you think it affected the Rangers after '94?
It could only have a negative effect when you have to go through all that, the pomp and circumstance of winning a cup, with going on the late night television shows and going in the parade and just having that feeling that, in essence, that you finally lifted the curse. And then for that lockout to come down in 95, for an older team to begin with the exception of maybe Kovalev and Zubov, it really showed, in the end for the Rangers, getting to the second round was probably right where that team needed to be.
Battle on Hudson, October 1st is when it's going to be released. He's Tim Sullivan, author of the book, also works and covers hockey for AP. Give me 3 of the most interesting Rangers while you were writing the book.
Well, Stefan Matteau, above all else, and one thing you'll discover in the book, he wrote my forward, and I think, as you know, most of around the Ranger Nation know that he's just so much more than the name, and obviously the radio call was such a famous call, but for him, when you hear the Kevin Lowe's and the Mark Messiers and the Brian Leaches of the world talk about him, and certainly when he showed up after the trade, kind of walking in a Mike Keenan disciple who came in and just took off with his opportunity. That was, of all else, that rings true. Nick Kiprio's a guy who didn't always make the lineup, but was always up in the press box, always there to give the speeches before the games, and was always there waiting right where we are for the players to come off. And then, of course, Mike Richter, and to be able to make the saves that he did in Game 6, so much gets lost in the Messier guarantee and Kovalev's goal and the 3 goals by Mark in Game 6 to keep the Rangers alive. But there's absolutely no question for 40 minutes of that Game 6, facing elimination with the curse hanging over their heads, that Mike Richter was their absolutely best player.
How about for the Jersey Devils?
Well, Bernie Nichols is one person that you and I have talked about, Don, that was going through a ton emotionally and personally at the time. Had lost his son earlier in the year, had been traded from Edmonton, and his family was relocated to LA, and he was going back and forth at the request of Lou Lamoriello to be with his family, but to have the series that he had, putting in some big goals, especially in Game 5 when the Devils took a 3-2 lead, is one of those men that you hear the Devils speak about in such a professional manner. He's one of those players that didn't go on to win the Cups with the Devils, a guy who gets lost. Another guy, Randy McKay, unbelievable storyteller, was on that such a huge line. Wasn't called the crash line in '94, but it might as well have been to have the Jacques Lemaire to have the faith in that line to go out after every goal scored against. And even in Game 7, as we moved on to first and second overtime, for that fourth line to still be getting a regular shift, pretty unbelievable. And then Chris Terreri, the backup to Marty, kind of the guy who set the stage for him, guy who gets kind of lost in the mix, but a very good leader in the clubhouse.
Tim, it's always a pleasure. Best of luck with the book. October 1st it comes out. All the usual places to pick it up, Amazon.com and all that.
It's already on pre-order on Amazon.com.
All right, I'm definitely going to pre-order it. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
All right, best of luck. Looking forward to that book again October 1st. Tickets Now is proud to be the official fan marketplace of the New York Rangers, sold by fans and verified by Ticketmaster. Tickets Now. Real fans deserve real tickets. Go to ticketsnow.com. Coming up, we'll recap period number 1, and then Kenny and Dave will have the call the second period here from the Garden. Devils have a 1-0 lead on the Rangers after 1 period of play here on the MSG Radio Network.